Today I'm going to show you how to replace an outdoor porch light. These lights are about 15 years old and have rusted out and stopped working, so it's time to replace them. To get started, the first thing I need to do is go to my circuit breaker and kill the power. I've tested that the power's off, so now I'm good to take off the back plate cover. To remove the cover, I need to take off these two bolts that are holding it down. If there's paint around the outside of your cover, use a razor blade to cut around it so it doesn't strip the paint off your wall when you take it off. This one wasn't sealed or painted, so I was good to take it right off. Underneath the cover are these metal brackets that anchor it to the wall. I need to remove these metal brackets, so I'm going to do that by taking out these two screws. With the bracket out of the way, I'm now going to pull out these wires so I can unhook them. To take off the wire caps, just unscrew it counterclockwise, then I'll be able to untwist the wires. These are safe to touch because I flipped the breaker switch and killed all the power. With the wires disconnected, it's time to get the new light. The lights that I'm using are these ones made by Maxim. I'm not sponsored in any way, but they just make a really great product and have a huge selection. I'll have a link to their store posted below. You can see that the wiring to this light is nearly identical to the old one, so it's going to be pretty simple to hook back up. To hook it up, all I have to do is match the colors, so white to white, black to black, and I'm going to make sure to twist the wires clockwise because that's the way I'm putting on the caps. After you put on the cap, it's very important that you do a pull test to make sure that the wire isn't going to slip out. As I connect the other wires, I'm going to make sure that the cap completely covers the metal and that there's no nicks in the plastic. The caps are on, so now I'm going to put on this metal bracket. These two screws will hold it in place to the junction box. The support bracket is set, so now I'm going to put on the leveling bracket. I'm going to connect via the center screw so that I can pivot it up and down. Before I tighten it all the way, I'm going to push the extra wire into the junction box. A quick tip is to push the caps facing upwards so dirt doesn't fall into them. Now I'm going to adjust the bracket so it sits perfectly level. Now I'm going to put a screw into the final slot so that everything is anchored down. With that set, I can now put on the light. The light's hooked up, so before I go to the last step, I'm going to make sure everything's working. It's all good, so the last step is to waterproof our lights. To do that, I'm going to run some sealant around the outside. There's multiple sealants that you can use, and for this job, I use this Dynaflex Ultra Advanced Exterior Sealant. It comes in different colors, and you can also paint over it if you decide to later change the color. Another waterproofing option is using silicone. Depending on your weather conditions, you may need to research if it's better to use silicone or Dynaflex. This brand of silicone is not paintable, but it's very durable. Now there's one more thing to consider when buying sealant. If there's over a ½ inch opening between your wall and your light base, you'll want to fill that in with this Loctite foam. If you use this to fill in gaps, you'll still want to go around the outside edge with a Dynaflex or silicone to waterproof the lamp. So the last thing I'm going to show you is how to apply the Dynaflex. On the base of your caulk gun is this hole, and you can use that to cut the end of the Dynaflex tube. I recommend cutting a smaller hole because you can always apply more later. Throw the Dynaflex in your caulk gun, and now we're good to apply it. Grab a brush and clean off any debris or dust around the lamp, then carefully apply a bead of the silicone or Dynaflex around the base of the lamp. Go in a slow and smooth motion, and you can get a very clean bead around the outside edge. I applied the water sealant around the outside edge, so now I'm done installing a brand new porch light. These are a huge improvement to your home and very simple to install. If you want to pick up these lights or need to get any of the materials, I'll have everything linked below. And we're done here. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.